What has happened in BC Spirits? BC Spirits Spirit Day number 93. Today I put out a new podcast with Jacob Weeb, sort of like a part two. We did one back in January after the Whiskey Fest, and they won a whole bunch of awards at Whiskey Fest. So please go check out the podcast. Really good little conversation, talking about the gin, their little island of misfits toys up at Shelter Point. Really nice. I always love chatting to Jacob a lot. So I want to say a big thank you to Shelter Point, just because I'm about to taste their stuff. It's not easy doing BC Spirits. It's a massive passion project for me. 9 times out of 10, I pay for a lot of the stuff that you see me tasting out of my own pocket. And a lot of the other stuff, I don't. This is a massive passion project, and it's always nice when distilleries send me some product to taste, because then it's not coming out of my pocket. And so it's been about 18 months. It's been a lot of fun, and I've been really enjoying it. BC Spirits cocktail book is going to come out next summer, which I'm really looking forward to too. That's getting tied off as we speak. But let's kick this off. I actually chatted about, this is what was very serendipitous about today's tasting, is that I actually talked to Jacob about this actual whiskey yesterday in the podcast. So if you listen today, you're going to hear about this whiskey, and now you're seeing it getting tasted. So it's very like Inception. It's an Inception BC Spirits Day, where we've got a podcast talking about this whiskey. I'm tasting this whiskey, and I just got this whiskey first thing this morning, which I wasn't expecting. So huge thank you to Shelter Point for the constant support for BC Spirits. I really, really appreciate it. So we're going to be tasting the Shelter Point, the Forbidden. Now, if you do buy this, you have to make sure that you always say the Forbidden the way that I'm saying it, because it doesn't sort of have that sort of mysteriousness if you don't. It's 100% wheat whiskey, which again, if you listen to the podcast today, it's interesting because I don't think I've ever tasted 100% wheat whiskey. I've tasted Bernheim, which is heavy wheat, but I don't think the mash bill is 100% wheat. And I know that the Wyatt, from the Wyatt number 2 from Legends, is a heavy wheat whiskey as well. But wheat whiskey as a generalness, especially in the US, you just don't see a lot of it in Canada. So it's very, very interesting. Jacob goes into talking about it needed to age a little bit longer. They thought that it was a write-off 2-3 years into aging. They're amazing guys. They did a whole bunch of sanitizer while they're up there. On the nose, super light. I think he said 5 years for this one. Yeah, I think he said 5 years for this one. Forbidden, meaning not allowed, banned, single malt wheat whiskey. I think he said 5 years on this one. So, super light. Multi-grain bread, like that wheat bread sort of like nose to it. $49.8. I can see it's not green. It's got some good depth to it. It's got a nice base note in that finish. But I can see where Jacob was saying, like, after 1 or 2 years, they were just like, coming on that 3-year mark, they were like, man, this is not really going to come out good. We're probably going to blend this in with something. But I can see where there would have been this sort of point where it's like, oh, this is really light, and it's almost like a spice. Not a rye spice, but it's got a nice spice to it, like a husky spice. And then the age would have kicked in. Good work. 100% wheat whiskey. Something very, very different. This is like nothing Shelter Point's put out. It's still really nice and grainy. Very multi-grain, sort of whole seed wheat bread in the back of my palate right here. Super light. Apricots, it's like stone fruity in the front. A little bit of that wet concrete, flinty camp rock sort of kick to it that most of the Shelter Points have as a terroir specific thing. I think this gets released this week or next week. I'm so glad that I got a bottle. The Shelter Point, the Forbidden. 100% wheat whiskey. Must get. Once it comes out in the market, you're going to hit it up. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.